Hey everybody, got a quick product review for you here. It's a variable ND filter, also called a fader ND. This one comes from GenusTech and it's their Eclipse Variable ND Fader. And what this does basically, if you don't know, is it acts as multiple ND filters. So a lot of us, for photographers or videographers, both use ND filters to achieve a wider aperture when they're shooting, so they can get out of focus backgrounds, shallower depth of field basically. And this isn't usually a big problem if you're an indoor videographer like me, but when I do shoot outdoors, I have the problem that everything is in sharp focus. So if you're in a brightly lit situation, usually outdoors, that's where this thing comes in handy, because it gives you more control over your aperture and your exposure settings. When you're shooting outdoors, you don't have a lot of options without an ND filter. So basically your aperture is your only way to control the brightness of your video or photographs. With the fader ND, you're able to control the depth of field because you can adjust the fader ND filter instead of changing your aperture. So in some of these shots you can see that the outside light, it's full daylight, the sunlight would normally cause me to have to close my aperture all the way down so I'm not overexposed, and this is fine if you don't mind everything being in focus. But with the fader ND screwed onto my lens, I'm able to control the exposure without having to adjust my aperture. In most cases, I'd like the background to be soft and out of focus, and without an ND filter on, this is impossible because it's going to be too bright and I'm going to have to close my aperture all the way down, therefore making everything in focus. But with the ND filter on and adjusting it to the darkest setting, I'm able to shoot wide open if I want to and get a really soft out of focus background like I'm used to getting when I shoot indoors in low light conditions. This particular ND filter is a 77mm size. It's larger than any lens diameter that I actually have, but if I use step-down rings like this one, I can adjust it so that it'll fit on smaller lenses like my SLR Magic lenses, but still leave room for in the future if I upgrade, to say Canon lenses that have a 77mm lens diameter. I won't have to buy a whole new ND filter. So this one can be adjusted to work using these step-down adapters with any lens smaller than 77mm. I haven't noticed any color shift when shooting on this, and there's no reduction in sharpness that I can tell. I'm really happy with my purchase. It comes in a really good package. The box is really shiny and stylish in of itself, but once you open it, there's a case for carrying it around that is surprisingly durable, and that's what I keep it stored in when it's in my bag. I slapped this onto my 12mm SLR Magic just to try it. I read that you're not supposed to use faders on a wide-angle lens, and I've heard about the X effect, and that's exactly what I noticed when turning the fader down to the darkest setting. It worked pretty well most of the way through, but then towards the end, at the very darkest settings, it did show the X effect, and that's something that only seems to appear on the wide-angle lens. I didn't notice anything like that. I was able to go all the way dark on my 25mm without noticing anything like that. I'm really happy with the results of this fader, and for anyone that shoots outside, especially filmmakers, and you want to have that soft out-of-focus background in broad daylight, this is pretty much your only option. So again, this is the GenusTech Eclipse Variable ND Fader, and I can't recommend it enough. Great product. I'm shooting this review actually on the Panasonic G6, so just a teaser of the video quality. I'm replacing my GH2s. We're going to be shooting exclusively with the GH3 and the new G6. So that review will be forthcoming. Stick around for that. Hope you enjoyed this review though. See you next time.